Hello, friends. This is Smita here, and this is our tally class on voucher. Here, we will learn about voucher, how to create voucher, how to modify voucher, what are the different types of voucher, how to list out the transactions, or how to check the vouchers in daybook. All these things we will learn in this session. So, let's start with voucher. What do you mean by voucher? See, voucher is a document that contains the details of financial transaction. When we purchase or sell something, we receive the document. That document is known as a voucher. It is a written document that supports the entries reported into the books of accounts. For example, bill, invoice, or receipt, or salary sheet. All these are the vouchers. Now, these vouchers needs to be entered in tally. It means we need to enter the transaction of that voucher into the tally. So how to enter vouchers in tally? For every transaction, we use appropriate tally voucher. Tally facilitates different types of voucher for entering the transaction. If you are making payment voucher is used. If you are if you are receiving the money, receipt voucher is used. So like this, there are different types of vouchers. Those are used for entering the transaction. So we can use appropriate tally voucher for entering the transaction. Basically, the vouchers in Tally are categorized as accounting voucher, inventory voucher, and payroll voucher. Accounting vouchers are used when the company is in service industry. If you have, as we know how to create company in Tally, in if we have created a company as a service industry, in that case we will use accounting voucher. If our company is the manufacturer or trader, we will use inventory vouchers, and vouchers are used for payroll entries. So these are the basic three categories used, the basic three categories of vouchers. Well, Tally also facilitates single entry or double entry system for entering the vouchers. You can either enter in a single entry system, or you can have a debit credit part as a double entry system in voucher. So let's start with the first one. The first one is a contra voucher. What is contra voucher? Where it is used? Contra voucher is used when the transaction between cash to cash or bank to cash, bank to bank. It means when we withdraw cash from bank, we use contra voucher. When cash is deposited into the bank, contra voucher is used. Or if we transfer cash from one account of cash to another, means cash to petty cash, petty cash to cash. In this case, contra voucher is used. When cash transferred from one bank to another bank, again we will use contra voucher. The shortcut key is F4. So let's start entering the contra voucher. This is our tally. We have opened our Royal Governments Private Limited Company, and to enter the transactions vouchers, we need to go to gateway of tally. In transaction part, voucher option is there. Just select the voucher and press enter. Well, now first one. As we are entering contra voucher, our shortcut key is F4. Here we will type F4 from our keyboard. So I am pressing F4. See, as I have pressed F4, in the left hand corner we see contra. It means at present contra voucher is on. While entering the voucher, it always asks for date. Here, right hand side, it is asking for date. By default, it is taking the first date of the financial year. So our company's financial year is starting from 1st of April 2023. So at present, the date of the voucher is 1st April 23. If you want to change the date, you can either press F2 from your keyboard, or you on the right hand side we have date function. So just click on this F2 and here you can change the date and now enter the date of the transaction and accordingly it will accept that particular date. Suppose I want to enter the date 1st of April 2023. Enter. So the date of voucher is 1st of April. Well, to pass the contra voucher, we have one example. Suppose the question is rupees 10,000 deposited into the Axis Bank. We have deposited cash of rupees 10,000 in the Axis Bank. Okay. So entry will be debit Axis Bank account and credit will go to cash account. Axis Bank account debit to cash account. This is our entry. Well, in this, we need to pass the entry. So we have this contra and press enter after entering the date. It asks for credit part of the entry. So in our example, to the credit side, we have cash ledger. So we will select the cash ledger. As we know, cash ledger is a default ledger that we have. So this cash ledger, enter. And suppose I want to first, I would like to give opening balance for cash. What I will do, I will select that cash ledger and I will press Ctrl and enter from my keyboard so that I can enter the opening balance. Suppose I have 75,000 as a cash in my hand as a opening balance. Ctrl A. Okay. Now see, it shows we have the current balance of cash is 75,000. Now our transaction is we have deposited 10,000 into the cash into Axis Bank. So out of this 75,000, I am depositing 10,000 into the bank. So entry is credit part is cash account. Enter. Now it is asking for debit part. Enter. So debit will be Axis Bank account debit 10,000. So I will select Axis Bank. On the right hand side, we get a list of ledger of accounts. As we have already created Axis Bank in the last session, I'm selecting the bank, enter, and 10,000. Enter. As it is bank to cash, cash to bank transaction, it is asking for the bank allocation. It means it asks for the money deposited into the bank, the denomination of the notes. So what kind of notes? Suppose I have deposited 2,000 notes and 2 notes of 1,000. So total 10,000 rupees I have deposited in this denomination. Enter and press enter. Bank name is Axis Bank. Enter and on the at the end we need to put narration. Narration is always important. So the narration is being cash deposited into the bank and press enter. Press accept. Y for acceptance. Yes. So this is how we can enter the contra entry. So what is contra? When cash is withdrawn or cash is deposited into the bank, or we transfer cash from one cash account to another or from one bank to another account. In that case, we will use contra voucher and the shortcut key is F4. The next is payment voucher. Payment voucher is used for all types of expenses made by company through cash or bank. So for example, we pay salary, we pay electricity bill, rent is paid. So all types of expenses can be entered through this payment voucher and the payment voucher shortcut key is F5. So let's enter payment voucher. How to enter the voucher? First go to gateway of Tally, vouchers, and as recently we have entered contra voucher, it shows the contra voucher and now we need to change it to payment voucher. Either press F5 from your keyboard or to the right hand side we have the list of keys, shortcut keys. So F5 is for payment, enter. Just cross check. You have the payment word to the left hand corner, left hand top corner. So this is the payment voucher creation. First of all, we need to enter the date. Okay, so let me check what is the transaction available for payment voucher. The question is, we paid electricity bill of rupees 5,000 in cash. So electricity expense account debit to cash will be our entry. And this is the payment voucher. So we will enter this through payment voucher, that is F5. So F5 we have already selected. Now date, suppose it is on 2nd of April. So you can just enter the date over here or press F2 to change the date. Enter. Now debit. Debit part will be electricity account. So debit part, we have all these ledgers. We have already created these ledgers in the last session, but we don't have the electricity ledger. See, we don't have this ledger. And if you want to create the ledger at the time of passing the voucher, in that case, either go to create option, or you can press Alt and C for creating the ledger while entering the transaction. So I want to create a ledger of electricity bill, electricity expense account, enter. Now this is indirect expense which comes in profit and loss account. So I will select the group as indirect expense. Type of ledger, we don't want to select the type of ledger at present. Method of appropriation we will leave. We will see in these things in upcoming classes. For the time being, it is not applicable. Enter. Enter. So we have created electricity expense account debit and amount is 5,000. Enter. Debit part 5,000. Enter. Credit. Credit part is cash account. We have the cash account. Enter. See, every entry wise, it shows the balance of each and every ledger. In at the starting, we had opening balance of 75,000 as a cash. Then out of which 10,000 we have deposited into the bank, and now 5,000 paid as a electricity. So at present we have 60,000 balance in our hand. Enter. Now give the narration being electricity bill paid. Enter. Accept. Enter. So this is how we can pass the payment entry. Next is receipt voucher. Receipt voucher is used to account for all the money receipts by way of either cash or bank. If we receives the money either in the form of cash or directly into the bank or check, everything can be entered through receipt voucher. For example, we received interest, commission received. So all these are the receipts we can enter through receipt voucher, and the shortcut key for receipt voucher is F6. So let's start entering the F6 voucher. At present, we are in voucher creation. Just change to receipt voucher F6, or you can press F6 from your keyboard. See, every voucher has its own color. So this is the color of receipt voucher, and on the left hand top corner we have the receipt word. It means this is the receipt voucher. The question based on this receipt voucher is, we received commission of rupees 15,000 in Axis Bank. So entry will be bank account debit to interest received, and we have this Axis Bank, so we will debit Axis Bank account with 15,000 and credit will go to interest received account. So let's start. Receipt is the type of voucher. Now you can change the date. Suppose this is on, I will change the date to 2nd April to 4 2023. Enter. Enter. Now in this receipt voucher, it first asks for credit part of the entry. So in the credit part, we have interest received ledger. So as we don't have this interest received ledger, we will create it. Either click on this create option or press Alt and C from your keyboard and type the name of the ledger, interest received It is indirect income. It will come under indirect income group. Other rest of the things I am keeping it as it is. Enter. I have created the ledger and we have received 15,000 as a interest in Axis Bank. So credit will go to interest received account. Debit will be Axis Bank. Enter. And as we have selected Axis Bank, it will go to second screen where you need to give allocation of the amount received in the bank. Suppose we have received a check in the form of interest received. So check of rupees 15,000. The instrument number means check number, whatever the check number is there, you can input over here. These things are very important when we go for BRS, bank reconciliation. So check numbers are always important and check dates are also important. So instrument number means check number. Suppose check number is, it is 6-digit check number and check date. Suppose check was dated of 1st of April and we deposited into the bank on next day. So check date, instrument date was 1st of April. Bank name, we have received interest of 15,000 in Axis Bank. So the check was of State Bank, suppose SBI Bank. Enter. And narration, then we will come out of that screen and it asks for the narration will be being interest received. So narration should be given always. Enter. Accept. Yes, this is how we can enter the receipt transaction. Next is journal voucher. This is very special and important type of voucher. It is used to account for the kinds of adjustment entries. If you want to do some adjustment like depreciation, charging the depreciation, adjustment of outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, asset purchased on credit, all these things can be entered through journal voucher. And the shortcut key for journal voucher is F7. So as we are in the voucher creation, we will just press F7 from the keyboard or select F7 from the list. So this is the journal voucher. Question based on this is depreciation of this 5,000 charged on machinery. So depreciation account debit to machinery account will be our entry. So let's start entering the transaction. Suppose we have charged depreciation on this machinery on 31st of May. So I want to change the date. As we are in the educational mode, we can only enter the date 1st, 2nd and 31st of the month. Rest of the dates we cannot enter through educational mode. If you have licensed version, you can enter any voucher date. But at present, I have this educational mode. So I am entering 31st of May 2023. Enter. So our transaction is depreciation account debit to machinery account. So debit will go to depreciation ledger and we don't have that ledger. We will create the ledger by pressing Alt C. Depreciation account. Depreciation is always indirect expense. Rest of the things keep it as it is. Depreciation of rupees 5,000 on machinery. Enter. Credit machinery. As we have already created the ledger, we have this machinery ledger. You can type also here. You will list out the ledger. So machinery account credit. Enter. And narration part will be being depreciation charged on machinery. Enter. So this is how we can enter the special transactions known as adjustment entries through journal voucher. Next is our sales voucher. This is used for selling the goods or services. If you are selling the goods and services, we can pass those transactions to sales voucher. Here we can enter both cash sales as well as credit sales entries. So shortcut key for sales voucher is F8. So let's start with F8. Just press F8 from your keyboard or from this list. We can select F8. Well, at present, we are entering the simple sales entry. The question is goods sold rupees 25,000 to Tata Consultancy Private Limited on credit. So this is our entry. This is our transaction and the entry will be debit the receiver, credit the income. Tata Consultancy Private Limited account debit 25,000 to sales account. So we need to create both these ledgers. Before creating the ledgers, we need to modify this sales voucher, as this is a sales voucher but it is asking for the name of items, goods. We don't have the list of goods those we have sold. At present we are just going through the simple sales entry. When we will go for the inventory transactions, we will pass the entry in this mode, that is inventory mode. But at present we need to pass the entry in the debit credit form. So we need to change the mode of this sales voucher. We can change the mode of this sales voucher by pressing Control H, or here we have this Control H. Control H. So Control H is used to change the mode. Press on this Control H, and at present it is item invoice. Now we need to pass it as a voucher. Voucher means with debit and credit card. So I'm selecting as voucher, enter. See, now we have debit and credit. I just we have entered other transactions, vouchers. Same way we can enter the sales voucher also. So lastly, we entered the date of 31st May. That's why it is showing the 31st May. Suppose our date is 1st of May. We can change the date by typing it as a 1.5.2023. So date is 1st of May. Enter. The transaction is Tata Consultancy Private Limited account debit to sales account. So Tata Consultancy is we have sold the goods. So it is our debtor. So we will create the data. We don't have this ledger. Alt C is used to create the data. Tata Consultancy Private Limited account. He is our debtor. So just type debtor. Sundry debtors will be the group that we need to use for this ledger. Okay, while creating debtors or ledgers, creditors ledger, we always select maintain bill by bill details. We need to maintain all the bills one by one for all the debtors and creditors. So this question needs to be enabled always. Press yes for this. Rest of the things, leave it. We will go through this thing in upcoming classes. Now this Tata Consultancy, as this is a debtor, we need to give address of this company. So it is in Mumbai, suppose. Give the state. It is important when we will pass the entries of GST invoices. So at present, just select the state, pin code, his banking details. Suppose we want to if we want the information about his bank details. Suppose we need to return some money to that company. So in that case, we need banking details. If you press yes, it will go to second screen where you need to enter the banking details. So at present, I am keeping it no. The PAN of Tata Consultancy or IT registration number. Enter, enter. So party details. Okay. Now the amount of 25,000. We have sold the goods of rupees 25,000. The second screen appears where you need to give the bill wise details. So this is a new bill. Bill number 1, bill 1, enter. Due date, if due date is available, suppose we have given 30 days as a due date. So after 30 days, this company should pay the bill. Enter 25,000, enter 2. Now we sold the goods. So to sales account will be the credit part. So again, we don't have the sales ledger. Create sales account will be under sales account. Sales account is the group which is available, and rest of the things as it is. Enter, enter, being goods sold. Enter. This is how we can enter the sales transaction. Next is purchase voucher. Just like sales voucher, we can use purchase voucher for entering the transaction of purchases. When we purchase any goods or purchase the service, we can enter these things through purchase voucher, and the shortcut key is F9. So either press F9 from your keyboard, or from right hand side we have this purchase transaction, purchase voucher type. Just click on it, F9. This is again purchase invoice. It is in item mode, means it is asking for the goods those are purchased. So we don't have the details of it. So we will change the mode by pressing Ctrl H from your keyboard, or press this Ctrl H button. Enter. We need to enter as a debit credit voucher. So as a voucher, we will pass the entry. Again, date you can change by pressing F2. I am keeping it as it is. Enter. Okay, the question is goods purchased on credit from Alpha Distributors Private Limited 10,000. So we have purchased the goods. So purchase account will get debited. From whom? So we purchase goods from Alpha Distributor, the creditor. So creditor's account will get credited. So entry will be purchase account debit 10,000 to Alpha Distributors Private Limited 10,000. So let's enter this transaction through purchase voucher. While entering the transaction purchase voucher, it asks for invoice number. So Alpha Distributors gave supplied us goods. Along with that, we received a invoice. That invoice number needs to be entered over here. Suppose number is Alpha 25, the number of the invoice, dated the same date, 1st of May, credit. Now here, while entering the purchase transaction, it asks for the credit part. So credit part is Alpha Distributors, that is creditor. So we don't have this. Either click on this create option, or press Alt C from your keyboard. Alpha Distributors Private Limited. These are the creditors. Alpha Distributor is our creditor. Again, we need to maintain bill by bill details. Yes. Baki rest of the things as it is. Party details. Here also you can enter the details of the party, name, address, everything. So we have purchased goods of rupees 10,000. Here it asks for new reference, which is already given in the background. We have already supplied the supplier's invoice number. It takes automatically the same number as a reference number. Enter. Suppose due date is 30 days. Enter. So 30 days from this date, that is 1st of May. Starting from 1st of May, it adds 30 days, and 31st May will be the due date for us to pay the money. Enter. Enter. Debit will go to purchase ledger. So we don't have the ledger. We will create it. Purchase, create purchase account. We have the purchase group for this purchase account under purchase group. Rest of the things as it is. 10,000. Enter. Being goods purchased. Enter. Enter. So this is how we can enter the purchase transaction. The next is debit note voucher. Debit note voucher is used for purchase return. If we have purchased some goods, few goods, and we are returning the goods to that party, in that case, debit note voucher is used. Debit note means purchase return. It is issued to a party stating your account is being debited. So purchase return shortcut key is Alt F5. So let's go to purchase return, that is Alt F5. You can either press Alt F5 from your keyboard, as we don't have the debit note in the list over here. We can either press Alt F5 from the keyboard directly to open debit note voucher, or here we have the F10, that is other vouchers. If apart from these voucher you want to enter the entries of other vouchers, specific voucher, we can open them through F10. So I'm clicking over here F10, and then use your arrow key to select the voucher type. So we are opening, we need to enter debit note. So I'm selecting debit note. Here also you will find the shortcut as a Alt F5. So enter. So this is again debit note in item invoice mode. We need to change it to voucher mode. So I'm again changing the voucher mode by pressing Ctrl H from keyboard or pressing change mode button. So as a voucher I'm entering. So again it is in the debit credit part. Okay. Now the question is goods. As we just now we have purchased 10,000 rupees goods from Alpha distributors, we are returning 2,500 to Alpha distributors. Goods returned to Alpha distributors private limited worth rupees 2,500. So entry will be debit to the party and credit will go to purchase return account. So Alpha distributors account debit to purchase return. So enter. Now it is asking for debit part. So debit we have Alpha distributors. Accept the screen as it is, 2,500. Enter. It is asking against which bill we are creating this debit note. So it has, as we have selected bill wise details, it has the list of all the bills of purchase transaction. Here this debit note is against alpha slash 25 bill number. Enter, 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 and credit will go to purchase return account. So we don't have this ledger, we will create it. Alt C, purchase return account, which is always in purchase account only. The grouping will be purchase account. Rest of the things as it is, I'm pressing Ctrl A from my keyboard. So being narration is, I'm typing the narration being goods returned due to inferior quality. Okay. So enter, enter. Next. Now we will pass credit note. Credit note voucher is used for sales return transaction. When your customer returns some or all the goods, credit note voucher is used. As we have sold goods to the debtor, and if that debtor returns goods, in that case we will use credit note. There are many more reasons to use credit note, but at present we will use this credit note for sales return. And the shortcut key is Alt F6. Again we will go to our tally. We will press Alt F6 from the keyboard, or as we don't have the list of credit note voucher type in the right hand side, we will select it from F10. Select other vouchers F10, and here we have the credit note. Enter Alt F6. Again change the mode to invoice mode, Control H, voucher, convert it into debit credit card. Suppose we are returning our Tata Consultancy return goods to us of rupees 5,000 rupees. Sales return account debit to Tata Consultancy Private Limited will be the entry. So enter. Here it asks for credit part. So we have this data Tata Consultancy Private Limited. Just press Ctrl A to accept everything. Party details Ctrl A, or you can change over here. and amount is 2500. Enter. Against reference. So this sales return is against which bill? So bill number 1 that we already entered. So select that particular bill, enter. Debit will go to sales return. So we don't have this ledger. If you check over here, we don't have that ledger. So we will create it as a sales return account. And this also comes under sales account group. Rest of the thing as it is. Control A, 2500. Give the narration being goods returned by the data. Enter, enter. So this is how we can enter different types of vouchers. So till now what we have entered, we entered Contra voucher through F4, payment voucher for making any type of expenses through F5, receipt voucher for entering all types of receipt through F6, journal voucher for adjustment entries through F7, purchase voucher through F8, sales voucher F9, debit note that is purchase return through Alt plus F5, credit note that is sales return Alt F6. Well, while entering purchase, sales, debit note or credit note voucher, at present we have converted it into debit credit part, debit credit voucher type. We have changed more to debit or credit part. Well, all these things are different about different types of accounting voucher. Well, suppose we have the debtors, creditors, their opening balance, and if you want to make payment to that debtor or creditor, how to make payment? We will use payment voucher. If you receive money from debtor, we will use receipt voucher. For example, I'm coming out of this voucher type. I have a creditor and I'm paying money to that party. Suppose I'm creating a ledger. How to create a ledger? Gateway of Tally in master's part, create ledger. My creditor is XYZ Limited. It's our creditor. Okay. We want to maintain bill by bill details. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Name and address of the company. XYZ Limited is in Pune, suppose. So it is in Maharashtra country. Give the details of his bank details so that we can make online payments also. PAN, IT number of XYZ Limited, enter. And here we need to give opening balance. So as on 1st of April, the outstanding amount was 85,000. Suppose XYZ Limited already sold goods to us. We have purchased goods from XYZ Limited of 85,000. Enter. While creating debtors or creditors ledger and putting opening balance, it goes to second screen where it asks for the allocation or breakup of those that total outstanding amount. Suppose this 85,000 has this 85,000 opening balance is for three bills. The bill dated 1st of Jan 23, bill number XYZ, bill number 26. I'm giving 30 days as a due date, enter, and that day bill was of 15,000, enter. See, at 85,000 was the total outstanding, out of which we have entered only bill of rupees 15,000. So till we completely enter 85,000 amount, it will rest over here only. It will not go to the next screen. So another bill was dated 2nd of Jan 2023. Bill number was XYZ 100 number bill. Again, you can give 30 days as a due date. Bill was of 25,000 and another bill of 1st of Feb XYZ 249 number bill. And suppose instead of putting days, due dates, we can put the date also. Suppose is this bill's due date is 31st of March. We can enter any date. So either you can put the date or you can give the total days for due dates. So it was a 45,000. See, so total outstanding was 85,000 and bill wise breakup is first bill of 15,000, second bill of 25,000 and third bill of 45,000 entered. So this is our creditor, and suppose we are making payment to the creditor. Total we have paid 50,000 to the creditor. How we will pay? So go to voucher, enter. Now we need to pay. So we will select F5 payment voucher date, as on which date we are paying. Suppose I am paying on 1st of June, 1 June 2023. Enter. So debit will go to XYZ Limited. Enter. 50,000 we are paying. Enter. So now it asks for which bill you are paying for. So first of all, it will list out the bill wise details against reference. For which bill we are paying? I am paying for the most old bill, that is 1st Jan, dated 1st Jan. It is of 15,000. Enter. As we have paid 50,000, till this 50,000 will get complete, it will restore here. Enter. Enter. Again it will ask for another bill. This is second bill, 2nd Jan, 25,000. Enter. Against next bill 10,000. So last bill was of 45,000, but out of which we have paid only part payment of 10,000 rupees. So total 50,000 we are paying, which is against 15,000 from first bill, 25,000 against second bill, and a part payment of 10,000 against third bill. Enter. Enter. Well, here we will combine the entry also. Suppose we have paid this 50,000 in cash. So credit will go to cash of rupees 30,000. We paid cash 30,000. Enter. So as we have paid the cash and rest of the amount through Axis Bank. So entry will be XYZ Limited account debit 50,000 to cash 30,000 to Axis Bank 20,000. So this is a combined entry. We can say it as a compound entry where we have more than one debit or more than one credit or combination of all. Enter. So it asks for allocation of bank details also. As we are paying 20,000 by check, which check we are issuing? We are issuing check of Axis Bank, and check number is this one, dated so and so. Enter. Being paid to creditor in cash as well as through bank. Enter. This is how we can make payment to creditor. Same way we can receive money from debtor. So we need to give bill allocation, and through which whether you are receiving the money in cash or bank, that we have to select. So this is known as a bill allocation. Next part is day book. After entering the transaction, it comes to check or see the report. So day book is the type of report where we can see all the transactions entered. All transactions, all entries of a particular date or period can be displayed in day book. It can be modified to view only one kind of transaction. From day book, transactions can be selected for deleting, cancel, or can be removed. And we can make the duplicate voucher also. So to view the day book, the shortcut key is Alt. To make the duplicate voucher, it is Alt 2. Well, let's see the day book. How to see the day book? Go to display more reports. We have, just see, go to gateway of Tally. In that we have display more reports, enter. Here we have daybook. So gateway of Tally, display more reports, daybook, enter. So at present, this is the screen of daybook and it is showing the entry for 1st of June. Suppose we want to check the entry for the whole period, that is from day 1 to last date. So here what we need to check, just click on this F2 arrow. We need to give a period. Alt F2 is the shortcut key to enter the period from which date we need to check the result. So suppose I want to change the period from 1st of April 2023 to the end or to the last entry. So I will keep the two parts as a blank. So it will show all the entries right from 1st of April. Enter. So these are the transactions those we have entered in today's session. So all these are the transactions. 1st April, we made a contra entry. See, the first column is date column, particulars, where we check the ledgers with those we are used for entering the transaction. What type of transaction, what type of voucher type it is listed over in the third column. Voucher number is given, whether it is a debit part or credit part is given over here. So first is a contra entry, then payment receipt, credit note, debit note, date wise it is listed. So this is how we can check the debit. So this is the day book and all the entries of a particular date or given period can be displayed in the day book. It can be modified to view only one kind of transaction. Suppose I want to see only the payment type of transaction. We have this payment type transaction and this one payment type of transaction. What I will do, I will open this configuration. I will open this configuration combination with Alt range. I want to see the voucher type with payment with name starting with payment. Enter. Enter. So only two type of transactions, those are in payment voucher. Those can be listed in daybook with proper configuration. I'm pressing escape to see all the transactions right from 1st of April till last date. Enter. Escape. Suppose you want to delete the transaction from a daybook. How to delete it? Again, go to gateway of Tally, display more reports, daybook, Alt F2 for to check the transactions right from 1st of April 2023 till end. And suppose I want to delete this transaction. What I will do, I will select the transaction and I will press Alt D from my keyboard and it will ask for confirmation. If you press yes, it will get deleted. If you press no, it will not get deleted. So be cautious to use Alt D key. We can duplicate the voucher. Suppose I want to enter the electricity payment for the next month also and the same voucher if I want to pass. So instead of opening the voucher, changing the voucher type, entering debit and credit card, I will just copy this voucher. So which voucher you need to copy? Just move your arrow key, use your arrow key and select the voucher and then Alt and 2 from keyboard. So at present we have copied the voucher and it is asking to alter the voucher. So this is duplicate voucher. We have already original one. This is duplicate voucher. And suppose the first voucher was April. Now I am entering electricity expense of May. So I am changing the date 1/5/23. Enter electricity expense. Suppose it was 4,500. 4,500 and control A to accept. See, We have this electricity expense, and this also. This is our electricity expense, and this is another electricity expense. So this is how we can copy the voucher. So to copy the voucher, the the shortcut is Alt 2. This is how we can copy the vouchers. So in this session, what we have learned, we learned different types of accounting vouchers, how to make entries in the voucher. Then we learn how to allocate the bills for debtors and creditors, how to put opening balances of debtors and creditors along with their bill-wise entries, and make payment to creditors or receive money from debtors depending on the amount received against each and every bill. And then we checked our reports by using daybook report option. So just go through the session, practice all the entries that we have discussed in this session, and check your daybook. Thank you.